Hello everyone and welcome to Crafting with Delonda. It's me again, Delonda, and thank you so much for joining me today. In today's tutorial, I will be demonstrating how to use digital paper in Cricut Design Space to create beautifully sublimated images. At the end of this tutorial, if you find it helpful, please remember to like the video, subscribe to my channel, and turn on the bell for notifications because I do upload new content every single week. Now, without further ado, let's look at the materials and then we'll head over to the computer so that I can show you the digital paper that I'm downloading, and then we will go right into Cricut Design Space. Let's get started. The materials I'm using for this tutorial include this white 100% polyester Make Market sweatshirt, a sublimation paper in the 8.5 by 14 size, a lint roller, Cricut heat resistant tape, butcher paper, and I'll be using that heat press. That is the HTV Ront Auto Heat Press 2. My printer is an Epson EcoTank 2760 and it has sublimation ink inside. Now let's head to the computer so that I can show you the file that I'm downloading from the Creative Fabrica website. The first thing I'm going to do is go to the Creative Fabrica website and download this bundle. It's called Christmas Digital Paper Bundle. I'll click download. On my computer, because I'm using a Windows-based operating system, when I click download, the option comes up right here in the top right corner of my screen. And once it finishes downloading, I will need to extract the files that I plan to use in Cricut Design Space. So I'm going to give this an opportunity to download, and then I'll show you what the extraction process looks like. I am in my downloads folder, and what I'll do is click on this bundle, Christmas Digital Paper Bundle 1. I'm going to click on it, and I'll click the option to extract all. Once I click this option, I can browse and save these files wherever I want to save them. So I can browse and I can choose to save them on my desktop. I can save them wherever I want to. So let's just say, for example, I want to save them on my desktop in a Creative Fabrica files folder. So I'll double click in this folder and I will create a new folder that's called Christmas Digital Paper Bundle 1. I'm just going to call it exactly what it's already called here on my computer. I'll click select folder. I'll click it again and I'll click extract. Once I click that, the items are being extracted and unzipped and being prepared for me to use them wherever I want to use them. So files have to be extracted after they are downloaded in most cases. Okay, so I'm going to just let this complete. It's 222 items. So here are all of the papers. So there's the chalkboard digital papers, Christmas colors, Christmas damask, Christmas digital, all of the options. So now I'm finished with this. I will go into Cricut Design Space and start to upload the files. I am in Cricut Design Space, and the first thing I'm going to do is make sure my paper size is correct. So I clicked on the drop down arrow and I'm clicking on settings, and I'm going over here to load type, and my page size, or my print then cut page size, is on 8.5 by 14 because that's the size paper I'm using. Okay, so if you're not using this size, just keep yours on 8.5 by 11, or make sure yours matches. Okay, so I'm keeping mine on 8.5 by 14. I'll click done. The next thing I'll do is go over here to the left panel and click on images, and I'm going to do a search for a file that's called Merry and Bright. Well, not necessarily a file, but an image. Now, there are a lot of images that have the words Merry and Bright. And when I'm searching through files, I like to find images that are big and bold. And I don't really like thin fonts or skinny fonts when it's going on something that I'm going to be wearing. So I can scroll down. I like this one. I like that also. I kind of like that. I don't really want the Christmas trees though. Merry and Bright. I like this. I like that also. I don't like that one, not for a sweatshirt. Okay, so I can close this out, and I'm going to bring the view down on my canvas to right at 50%. Now, before I start to work with this file, I'm going to right click and duplicate it and just move one over and turn it off. So I have an extra one just in case I make too many mistakes. I don't have to search for it again. Okay, now when I look at this file, I can see that this file is made up of layers. I can just click that drop down and I can see that this file is made up of 6 layers. I can click and I can see that each layer is a different color. Perfectly fine. Now, what I'm going to have to do with this file is ungroup it so that I can work with the layers. Because right now, the operation type for this file is a basic cut. And this would be perfectly fine if I was just using regular heat transfer vinyl. However, since I want to use the pattern paper, I'm going to have to change this file from a basic cut to a print and cut. But I have to do it within the layers because I want to make changes to each part, each of these 6 layers. Okay, so the first thing I want to do is go over here to upload. I'm going to click pattern fill, upload pattern, browse. I'll navigate to my desktop where I have that file saved. I'm going to my Christmas digital paper bundle. I'll go to the Christmas digital paper, and I want this first part of my file. I want to use this mistletoe, so I can click open and let the pattern come in. I think that's so cute. I'll click upload. Okay, pattern upload successful. So now with the word Mary, I'm not changing the size or anything. All I'm doing right now is I'm going to change this from a basic cut to a print then cut. With this file, this part of the file selected, the word Mary, I can see that it's navy blue and I don't want it to be in color. I want to have a pattern, and I want to use that pattern that I just uploaded, which was the mistletoe. I think that's so cute. Okay, I think it's great. All right, so now I can go and work on the next part of the file that I want to work on. I want to work on the word bright, and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to click upload, pattern fill, upload pattern, browse, desktop, go to my Creative Fabrica files, digital paper, going back to that folder digital paper, and I want to use these red dots, okay? And it's going to upload. This is option number 4. I'm clicking upload, and it's going to come in. Okay, so the pattern is uploaded. So now with the word bright, I need to change it from a basic cut to a print then cut. And then I have the option to change it from a color to a pattern, and I can click on that red pattern. Okay, so far this is looking great. All right, so now let's click on the word and I'm going to have to do the same thing. So let's click on upload, pattern fill, upload pattern, browse, desktop, Creative Fabrica files, digital paper. Let's go to, let's see what we have for, let's keep going with Christmas digital. We'll stick with what we know. Let's go with the dots. Okay. And I might want to change that, but let's just upload this one for now. Okay, and so now I'm going to click on the word and I'm changing it from a basic cut to a print and cut, changing the color from the gray to go into a pattern, and I'm going to go with that green dots. Okay, that looks good. It kind of looks good. I think I might want to change that. Let's see what my other patterns are. Let's see what this gold looks like. I want to go with that gold. I think that gold looks great. All right, so now I can change these stars. So I can click on the stars. I'm going to have to change those. So I can kind of just go with the patterns that I already have uploaded. So I can click on the star, change it from a basic cut to a print and cut, change it from navy, go to pattern, and let's see how that would look. That's great. Okay, let's change this from a basic cut, print and cut, change it from gold to pattern, and let's give this that red
And then let's make this gold. From a basic cut, print and cut, change it from gray to pattern, and let's go with gold. And I think this is so nice. I love it. All right, so now I have everything the way I want it, and really it's a little bit too big because the biggest I want my width to be on my sweatshirt is right at 10.8. Okay, so I have everything selected and it's going to resize everything together. I think that looks great. Now I do want it to be a little bit taller. So now that I'm keeping all of my proportions locked, I still want this to be a little bit taller, but I am going to unlock the proportions because I don't want to change the width. I only want to change the height. So I can unlock the proportions and kind of just click on the up arrow to change the height. And because everything is its own separate layer, I don't have any errors right here for my print and cut. If I were to put all of this together and flatten it, Cricut Design Space would not allow this size. Okay, so we're not going to do that. Let's go a little bit bigger. 10.9 is perfectly fine. I think this is great. All right, so let me show you what I mean. If I were to click flatten, right, and my paper size is 8.5 by 14, Cricut Design Space would give me an error and say that my image is too big. So let's click flatten. Okay, so you see I have an error right here. It's telling me that my image is too large. So I would unflatten this and I would click print. Now, what I could do is put certain parts of it together so that, I'm only printing 2 sheets instead of basically, 6 separate things. And I think I want to do that. So let's go ahead and select these gold stars. I'll hold my shift key. I'll select the word Mary, and let's see if I select the red stars, if Cricut Design Space will allow that. Okay, that's great. And what I have left is the green stars and the word and the word bright. And let's see if I can flatten that. Okay, so now I'm going to be printing 2 images. So now I can click make. And do I want to save this? I'm going to say yes. I'm going to say Mary and bright. And I want to just save it. Okay, and I can click, let's sort it. Okay, it's going to sort it. I want to have 2 sheets, perfectly fine. I'll click continue, and I'm going to click send to printer, and I'm going to select my Epson EcoTank 2760 series printer. Epson EcoTank 2760. I don't need the bleed. I do need the system dialog. I'm going to click print, and I'll go to my printer settings, Epson EcoTank 2760 series. I'll go to preferences, and I'm selecting my 8.5 by 14 Sublimation mirrored. This is already a saved preset on my printer settings. I am going to get a print preview. The orientation is portrait, premium presentation paper matte. It's on color. And I'm going to click OK, and I'll click print. And once I do, I'll get a print preview, and it's going to be a mirrored image. Now, none of this actually matters in terms of the Cricut because I'm going to cut these registration marks with my scissors. I'll click print, and everything I'll do from here will be back on the camera. Typically, after my images are printed, I let them sit on the heat plate for about a minute or so. And while the images are sitting under the heat, I'll be preparing my shirt or my blank or whatever else I'm going to press. So that's what I'm doing here. And I have my heat press set so that it is not going to start pressing. The auto option is off. My images are under the heat press. I'm putting butcher paper inside the shirt to protect the ink from going from the front all the way through to the back. Next, I'm going to lint roll prior to pre-pressing the shirt. I like to pre-press with butcher paper on top to make sure that none of those blue fibers show up by mistake. I'm pressing for 10 seconds right here. What I'm going to do now is cut the registration lines off of the image because I don't need them. One tip is to tear the paper instead of cutting the paper. That decreases the chance of getting those hard press lines. And with this design, I'm making sure to tear the paper very close to the words, and I'm going to be very careful about how I place the design on top of the sweatshirt. That I have gotten rid of the excess white paper, I am going to tape the image face down to the sweatshirt using my Cricut heat resistant tape. I am not using very much tape, just enough to keep the image in place while it's being pressed. I'm going to put butcher paper on top of the image, and I'm going to press this on 385 degrees Fahrenheit for 60 seconds. I did not change the pressure. It's still on 170 pounds of pressure. And while that's being pressed, I will start to clean up my work area. Finished being pressed, and this is always my favorite part of any tutorial is the reveal. So I'm pulling the butcher paper away. You can see that there is some ink release on the butcher paper. Remember, butcher paper protects your heat press from getting any ink on it. Now I'm going to peel the sublimation paper back and reveal the design. And you already know I'm going to say I love it. I love, love, love the way this turned out, and hopefully you do too. Hopefully you have found this tutorial helpful. If you did, please remember to like the video, subscribe to my channel, and turn on the bell for notifications because I do upload new content every single week. Thank you so much for joining me today, and thanks for watching. Bye.